anyway.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about some of the changes for Origin 2 in the previews, but we had another fan viewing on another game, Tim, which is very exciting. This might be the only Rugby League podcast that you hear talk about this week, unless
Chasing Roos
are dropping one. But the Serbian final was played.
In the Serbian Rugby League final, it finished Red Star Belgrade 20, Partizan 12, and we had a view on this one from Dr. Hideous, who said Partizan looked
I didn't even know this game was happening. So
neither did I.
No. I was watching some French stuff at the weekend, but not Serbian stuff. Sorry, anyway, I cut you off in your Dr. Hideous prime.
Sorry, was that Rugby League or are we back on pornography?
Back on.
Well, it doesn't take that long, does it?
We're never a million miles away.
Partizan looked stronger early on. Well, yeah, that could apply to either description. Playing exciting rugby, but poor ball handling prevented them from scoring. Red Star opened the scoring on 20 minutes and were 18-0 up at half-time, including a great penalty from halfway. The second half started frustratingly error-strewn, but when teams got it together, Red Star's first half lead was too big for Partizan to overcome.
Yeah, well done, Red Star.
Yeah. And all their members. Well done them.
Yep, excellent stuff. Right, and thanks for getting that one in Dave. Brilliant stuff. So we're now going to move on to our predictions, where we'll be looking at the first round of the Super League playoffs and the second Origin game. Predictions time. It is round one of the Super League playoffs. Thursday night, 7:45 p.m. on Sky is the first game. This feels also familiar, doesn't it, to the slots of yesteryear before the 5:30s and the 8 o'clocks and the what have yous. But it's Warrington versus Hull FC. So third place Warrington versus sixth placed Hull FC. Hull made a bit of a late push this season. Warrington have barely played since September, it feels like. Where do you feel like this one's going to go, Tim?
I think from a residual quality and the fact they have had less games to play, I think Warrington have got enough to do this one.
So you're going with the wire? What?
Yeah, I think they're just the better side overall. I think you look at the players, they've just got more big game experience in there. They've got more cohesiveness as a team, and I just think they'll have more than Hull FC will be able to offer this.
Yeah, I think in particular the starting front row at Warrington's been very good in every game they've played of late. Darryl Clark with Hill and Cooper back in combination around him. They're still missing Tom Lynham, aren't they? But I think Jake Mamo might be back, which is no knock on young Fulis, but I think you'd be wanting Mamo going up against the Tumavave now logo wing rather than the young fella. But yeah, you just got to think they've got more weapons from more places in that spine at Warrington, and so I'm just favouring them too. I think Hull FC are going to make it close and gritty. Weather conditions dependent as well. If it's a dry night, it might play more into Warrington's favour. If it's a drizzly or wet night, Hull FC might have more to say. So I'm going to go Warrington in a close one. Just the one score in it. Warrington by 6, let's say. Then Friday, 7:45 p.m. on Sky. It is Catalans versus Leeds, which I think is also being played at the Halliwell Jones Stadium with all the restrictions and things like that. They've seen sense to make it be played there. So this is again hard to talk about because Catalans have only played once in the recent past and got dicked over in the second half against Salford last week, but maybe that was a lesson for them to learn, and they certainly didn't have their best lineup out in that match. Leeds have been a little bit up and down since the cup final, but you'd think that they'll be putting their effectively cup semi and final side back into this game. So this could be quite exciting. If I look down the two team lists, I think Catalans at full strength have got the better side than Leeds at full strength. I just don't know if it'll play that way, but I am gonna stick with the Catalans narrowly. I think Catalans by 6 to 10 points, and Tompkins to have a big say in that.
I'm going the other way. I'm thinking Leeds with this. I think the cup final run and that kind of thing did spur them on. I think I don't think they used up all of their gas in the tank on that one. I think they've got the players. I think they've got enough with them. And I think that, as I said to you in the news, I think the Richard Agar being missing factor will be galvanising for them. I think they'll be able to use that to bring some strength in the group, and I think they'll come out of this one on top. But I don't think it'll be by much. I think it'll be a close ball game. It could well be by a drop goal.
Yeah, I was sort of feeling like if Leeds win, it's going to be by a Luke Gale drop goal. Yeah, we'll see how that plays out then. State of Origin Game 2, Wednesday 9-10am UK time. Check your local listings elsewhere. It's New South Wales versus Queensland. It's in Sydney. The Blues need this one. Few changes. The headline change for the Blues is Luke Keary going out and Cody Walker coming into the starting lineup. That Cleary and Keary partnership didn't work out in that first game at all, so we'll see if Cody Walker makes a difference there. That's the sort of main change for them, isn't it? But Finucane and Brown coming on, and Isaiah Yeo as well coming onto the bench, gives their bench a far more solid look. It's a
beefier side, isn't it, that's coming in. I think, yeah, whether Keary was necessarily the one of those two to make way, I'm not fully sure. I think Cleary has been... I just think he's going to get that tag that he's not a big game player. We've seen 2 big games in a row from him where he's just not turned up, or not turned up till the 78th minute. Yeah. So I think New South Wales will still have it enough to do this one. I think that there'll be a reaction there, and I think that Queensland won't have the fuel to get over it 2 games in a row. But Wayne Bennett coaching Queensland, it's, he's going to have something up his sleeve. There'll be something going on, so you can't fully bet against them, but I think New South Wales will do it.
Well, the big change for the Maroons is Valentine Holmes comes in at fullback for AJ Brimson, who I thought was reasonable in the first game, but I think if you can find a player who's got some experience, who's been involved in winning World Cup squads, you're going to bring him in, I suppose. Dunamis Louis gets his first crack as well, and Moika Fotuaika from the Cowboys, is he? Comes off the bench from the Titans. Sorry, he's at now, isn't he? Comes off the bench for them as well in their sort of changes to things, but you got to think that there's a bit more continuity there, but I do in that Queensland side, but I'm edging towards New South Wales as well. But this reticence you can sense is, I don't want to predict this game now after how madly wrong I got it last week. But I think the Blues with a better quality on paper will have been good for the run out last week.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I don't know. Right, that's the predictions taken care of. We've both gone the Blues, which didn't work out well for SLP last week. We'll see how it goes this week. I just hope it's a more intense game. Let's move into the wrap up of episode 287.
Right, and time to start with the SLP quiz. And I've got a quiz for you this week, Mark.
Good. I'm excited.
So it's about our dearly departed friends, the Toronto Wolfpack. So we're going to start with, we've got 3 questions for you. We're going to start with, who was Toronto Wolfpack's record point scorer in a season with 436 points in 2017?
That was Captain Craig Hall.
It was Wonderwall Craig Hall.
Hold on a minute. I feel like I sense what's coming, but it's going to be another answer that was Craig Hall, isn't it? It's not about the Wolfpack at all, is it? It's about your crush.
I can confirm nor deny. Name either of Toronto's leading try scorers in a season. Record holders both with 27.
Well, I assume Liam Kay is one of them.
Yep.
And the other one, presumably, is Craig Hall.
It's not. It's Matty Russell.
But I get the points out for Liam Kay.
You do get the point for Liam Kay. And finally, can you name 5 players from Toronto's first ever competitive game against Siddle in the Challenge Cup in 2017?
Fuifu Moimu is definitely one of them because he scored the try.
He was on the bench.
Then got sent off, didn't he?
Sent off or yellow, but yeah, he definitely got involved in something.
Yeah, I think Captain America Ryan Burrows played in this one.
He did. He was on the wing.
And if we're going first year Wolfpack, we'd have to think Blake Wallace was involved.
Blake Wallace was in the halves.
We'd have to think Adam Sidlow was involved.
The big bad Sid was on the bench.
And then who else has been a mainstay? Well, Liam Kay.
Liam Kay was not involved.
Oh, what? How can he not be in the first game when he's listed as their first ever player? Doesn't make any sense, does it? Can I have another guess?
Yeah, you can have 2 more.
Okay. Toronto's first year. Bob Bezic.
Yes. Okay, so that the ones you missed or didn't go for: QLT, fullback.
Of course.
Johnny Pownall on the wing.
Yes, punchable face.
Yeah, very punchable face. Greg Worthington in the centres. Also in the centre,
Craig Hall.
The other half, now, if you got this one at home, very good point.
Rhys Jacks.
Yeah. Rhys Jacks, jumping Jacks. Yeah, Steve Crossley and Jake Emmett were the front row. Andrew Dixon, probably a relatively easy one. In the second row with Richard Whiting and Jack Bussey. Yeah. And the 2 other bench players, James Laithwaite and Sean Pick.
Of course, yeah.
There we go. So that was Toronto's first ever game against Siddle only 4 years ago.
The infamous chamois leather game.
The infamous chamois leather game, yeah.
Excellent stuff, Tim. Good stuff. Thanks for the Craig Hall quiz.
I'm not going to lie, I did just toy with making every answer Craig Hall.
Do you have any recommendations or anything else to tell our listeners about this week?
Well, a little side diversion. It's just to say, again, thank you to the RFL community department for the work they did around getting the games and everything on for what happened in the shortened season that we did manage to get for the youth and junior sides. Pitsanger Panthers playing their 1 game up at Hemel did very well for that, and able to get a few players out for that, which was nice. 1 more training session, and then unfortunately lockdown meant at the end of the season. So we didn't get to host our first home game, which was scheduled for last Saturday. But that's the end of the season, and we'll be on to being under 15s next year.
It looked like the Panthers were getting some good support from the London Broncos, though, which is great to see.
Yeah, we had some good involvement from that side, and they've been really good at helping us however we can. So that's been really good, and hope to see more of that next year. But again, thanks to the RFL communication, which is not something you would have normally said in rugby league circles, but the communication has been first rate, and they've actually organised another webinar for this Thursday to outline to clubs what happens next and what can happen when we can come back in the new year. So really, fantastic, and they've definitely earned their Christmas time off. So well done to everybody involved out that side.